So
how do the Afghani people feel about it?
How does what?
How do the Afghani people feel
about it? A lot worse than they used to. Used to be that 2 years ago, 70% of the Afghan people, 70-something%, thought that U.S. continued military involvement in Afghanistan was a good idea. Now it's down into the 40s.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, Afghanistan has been at war or in some form of occupation for a really long time.
Right.
I mean, they can't remember a time when they haven't been. And so us identifying the Taliban as their biggest problem, they might not agree. Yeah. You know, I mean, and what I worry about with Barack Obama and the Afghanistan idea is that I think there is a real obvious political benefit to a Democrat appearing slightly hawkish. Oh, he's just against the dumb war. He's for the good wars.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan, I think maybe you can find a way to fight that as a good war, but it's really complicated, and we've been there for 7 years already, and they don't really want us there, and there's a lot of other stuff going on that maybe we could get more stuff done with things other than military power. And Obama talks so eloquently and so aggressively and so smartly about forms of American power that don't come from bombers, that don't come from troops on the ground, except when it comes to Afghanistan. It's like, Afghanistan is this important goal for us, and therefore we need more troops. Ooh, wait, there's something in between there, which is what can troops do to help us reach our goal?
But he does have a different ideology in the way he perceives threats in the next generation. I mean, one thing that appeals to me about the way Obama talks is he knows that it's not just bombs and bullets, that you need economic support, you need political investment, you need to work at the grassroots level to give these people jobs. And I think part of why you've seen a dramatic drop in the support among the Afghan people is not just because we've done poorly over there toward them. We just haven't delivered on our promises. They expected us to come in and pave the roads and give everybody a job and make everything safe. So, you know, the customer support has been pretty bad. So, you know, they're not happy with the product. And I think that,
like, you know, Best Buy.
Yeah, we have to.
We should send India.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You've had worse ideas.
So, I don't know. So when I hear him talk, I hear about approaching the world differently, about trying to use all the other tools in our toolbox as a nation to try to do what is really nation building. And I guess what I'm also encouraged to hear is people like Secretary Gates talking about it. Yeah. There is no bigger advocate for the State Department and the U.S. government than Bob Gates. I mean, he has continuously pushed for the expansion of the State Department budget, which is, I don't even know what percentage of the Defense Department budget. It's minuscule in comparison. So, you know, the way our entire government is structured is on bombs and bullets, not on diplomatic relations and ambassadors and political.
I'm just willing to hear the big non-military agenda for Afghanistan from Obama. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
I agree with you in principle.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've been praising him for all this time. But when it comes to Afghanistan, he's like, the time to sound like a tough guy.
Yeah.
And we're not hearing it applied to that. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, and that's the question that I wonder often with him is, it feels like there was all this market research done about where he could appear hawkish, and that his people did this whole study and said it seems that the left and the center will agree with you if you seem very militaristic about Afghanistan. And that's why I wonder why we haven't heard something diplomatic from him, some solutions from him, because there was this whole study and research and how should it be.
I don't think it was just that, though. I mean, there's also a recognition that Afghanistan may be salvageable. I mean, Iraq, most people don't know where it's going to go, but, you know, the optimists with regard to Iraq are much smaller in numbers than the folks who think that Afghanistan is still salvageable, and with a much smaller military commitment. You know, with less than 50,000, 70,000 people, we can still try to give Afghanistan a shot. If we want to maintain the surge, we've got to have 150,000 troops over the next 10 years. And where the hell are we going to get that?
Well,
so we're downgrading expectations.
Even more simply than that, there's a point. Afghanistan, us having military intervention in Afghanistan, there's a point. In Iraq, the point of us staying there or escalating there or withdrawing in a specific way there or whatever is all about making good the wrong that we did by invading in the first place. Whereas Afghanistan, the point is that if there is going to be another 9/11 planned against the United States, as Obama has said, it is most likely to come from the same place it was planned in 2001. And that is a failure that we should try to fix.
And it's tunnel vision. I mean, to assume that our threats are limited to Iraq and Afghanistan is very narrow-minded. You don't hear them talk about Pakistan very often. You don't hear them talk about other parts of the globe that still have legitimate military threats or at least political threats. So
or the breeding grounds of the first 9/11.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
the most controversial part of Obama's speech in Germany is when he talked about German troops in Afghanistan, which is incredibly unpopular, and he kind of breezed right through that and moved on to the next point.
And the Germans were like, yeah.
Afghanistan? What? Oh.
Yeah.
That's how it was, man.
yeah, they hate that.
He slipped that one in real fast. Yeah.
I know. Okay.
No, talk about focus testing, though. I mean, liberals want to bomb Pakistan.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that's the one thing that you can get liberals all like kind of hopped up and hawkishly excited about. Oh,
Liberals
yeah.
want to bomb Pakistan?
Oh, yeah, because it seems like a fresh idea.
Yeah. It also is one of the countries where, you know, we get into these sticky diplomatic situations, Americans, where we seem to befriend the tentative pro-American leadership, where the people themselves hate us. And instead of going, wow, like Iran, the people love America and Iran. They fucking love us. They want all our shit. They want Dancing with the Stars. They want Applebee's. They want it all. You know? But so I think Pakistan is the best of both worlds. The people don't particularly like us, and the leadership doesn't particularly like us. So it's kind of like, well then, bye-bye.
It's true, we picked these allies. Like Yemen is supposedly not an ally. So the guys who bombed the USS Cole are in prison in Yemen, and they escaped through a tunnel. But because it's Yemen, the tunnel goes from the outside in. Not the inside out. And then when the guy is finally recaptured under US pressure, he's like at the president's house. He's like out, like whoever the top like poobah is in Yemen, like dude's at his house when they find him, because that's where he's been hanging out. These are our great allies.
Right. Yeah, but it's just like Cheney. He goes out and does shitty things and comes back, and he's the second in command.
Yeah, that was good.
I just want to talk about, I just feel like, and I know both of you just feel like we just don't talk about the war enough, and we don't talk about the bill enough, and you both do, and thank you. So let's talk about the GI Bill. I just kind of want to break down it in processes. And the first thing I want to talk about is why was it so difficult for the Republicans to vote for this bill? Was it literally just because they felt like the Iraq War soldiers had not fought enough to get these benefits, or was it more than that?
I think it was more than that. And just on background, the GI Bill was in the works for about 18 months. Senator Jim Webb introduced it when he first came into office, and our organization, IAVA, was out in front pushing for it, and it was signed into law about a month ago now. And in essence, yeah, thank you. And thank you, like Rachel and a lot of other folks in the media really helped us push the issue out there and not let it die when it kind of started to languish at times in the Senate. But it will effectively send 1.7 million Iraq and Afghanistan vets to college, like we did with the World War II generation. So it's a huge piece of legislation. But there was a tremendous amount of opposition from the start, from the Pentagon, from President Bush, from Senator McCain. There were a few different arguments. The first we heard was that it was too expensive. It would cost us...
Tell the truth about that.
It's not expensive, relatively speaking. Like,
you're so articulate, Paul.
There are so many stupid arguments that came out against it over the course of it. We actually got into the process of not responding to them, because by responding to them, you elevate them to the point of being credible enough to respond to. So, like when McCain came out and said that it would destroy recruiting and retention. Well, basically retention. What McCain said was, if you give people a really good GI Bill benefit, they'll use it and leave the military. So it was never envisioned as a retention tool. It was designed to be a veteran's benefit. So you did your time, you came home, and you were rewarded by a grateful nation and given a step up on your next life.
See, McCain's plan was that if you're in the military already, then once you're in there, they take away your home, they impound your savings, and they steal your car. So then you have no reason to leave.
So McCain had his own version that would keep you in for about 20 years before you could go to butt-ass community college.
Excuse me, McCain's version was you get out and you fucking marry an heiress.
Right.
In bed, baby.
Hello, drink it down, Rachel.